Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
We're so sorry about the delay. I moved this week and didn't count on our lighting to be interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting
It's still not
and it's
perfect.
causing some issues with the background we use, but it's a hot mess behind us because of us moving. So we apologize if our faces and the background looks extra weird.
Oh, this just definitely looks better. I have my iPhone flashlight hanging on the screen and blowing at me, but the ceiling light had to be off, otherwise it was showing like
Yeah, there was like
halos.
bars on us. We'll get that figured out in the coming weeks.
Yes, so sorry about that, but we're glad that you all are joining us and are able to join us this week. We have a really amazing topic that I'm really looking forward to,
Yes.
and hopefully there'll be some opportunities for you all to be um, interactive, have any
Yes. If
questions.
you have any questions, this is one where I'm like hoping people have questions and are like, hey, what about this and this? Like, we would love to help out. So thanks, Mom. My mom said I look bald. I know it's the background, it's the lighting. We'll fix it. Thanks,
Yes,
Mom.
yeah. So we'll get things a little bit more in order for our next live, but we apologize. But we are still trying
Not
to
that bald. I have hair.
work out the kinks. But we're glad to have you all with us. We're going to have, like I said, a really good topic. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment. This is going to be recorded and will be live on YouTube. So if you want to watch any of our previous um, podcasts, feel free to go back and look at them. Also, the podcasts are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Healthy. Our podcast in Healthy's overall podcast hit a pretty big milestone on Spotify the other day. So if you want to take a look back at Healthy's post on Facebook to see which milestone was, I forget what the actual number was, but the Healthy podcast, which includes ours, hit a really big milestone on Spotify. So we're very happy about that.
Yes.
But yes, sorry, Joy. If I don't have my glasses, I can't see you all, and I can't read all this stuff. But Jody on Instagram, welcome, and Joy, um, and Amy, and Mom, and everyone. So thank you so much for joining, Regina. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to go back and look at all the comments with all the hubbub with the lighting. But we thank you so much for joining us. If you want to introduce the topic.
Yes. This week we are talking about healthy swaps, not just in food, but in lifestyle also. When people think about healthy swaps, sometimes they just think about food, but there's some lifestyle swaps that you can do as well. So we're really excited about this. Like we said, if you have any questions about healthy swaps and you're just like, hey, I'm craving this, what can I have instead? Or feel free to ask. We do not mind. I love coming up with things like that on the spot. So I think
Absolutely.
I trapped a cat in the closet. So
Yeah, she'll be fine.
whoops.
Well, I might go let them out real quick, and while you go ahead and continue talking about this one.
Yes, sorry about that. We were trying to get the background behind us looking a little bit better in case we had to take this off. And I locked the cat in the closet while I was shutting the closets. So, anyways, healthy swaps. So, healthy swaps, it's just exactly, hi, there he is. It's exactly how it sounds. You're swapping something unhealthy for something healthy. And let me preface this by saying you can have anything you want in moderation. There are no like unhealthy foods that are off limits, just in moderation. Sorry, I'm trying to get that off. Okay. Just in moderation. So just because something is labeled as unhealthy
Mhm.
does not mean you cannot have it. However, for your daily, day to day life, you might want to make some swaps so that one for volume eaters, you can eat more if you make these healthy swaps because typically it's less calories, less macros, you can have more of it. And also just, they are healthier options altogether.
Absolutely. And also, this is something we were talking about with our daughter today. She said, "Is it boring being an adult?" And I said, "No. It's kind of nice being an adult. We could go out and buy a birthday cake every day if we wanted to, even if it's not a birthday." But then I did preface, you didn't want to have birthday cake every day because it's not healthy. But I also wanted to make sure that we let her know that she can't have cake. We don't want have her going and telling people or living her life afraid to have cake
Yes.
because it's not healthy too. So that's one thing that's really important is, and we've talked about this multiple times. Courtney says to have what you want with what you need, to not deprive yourself. So make sure you have those. So some of it, what we've talked about is having smaller portion sizes, but we're going to have those swaps and those suggestions
Yes.
so you can still have that volume. Courtney loves her Reese's eggs, but she can't have very much of that to be full. So, well, there's a lot
Right.
involved.
And we have an ice maker behind us. I'm trying to turn off. It's making lots of noise.
Yeah, I don't know if they could actually hear that though.
It was bothering me.
Okay. All right. So some of the things that that you can swap are for chips. So I love chips,
Yeah.
and I have a tendency to I could eat a whole bag of Doritos, and you don't have to tell me that that's not very healthy. So some healthy swaps for chips are air popped popcorn or protein chips. Anything that has protein in there is going to give you a little bit of extra
Yes.
support. It'll help you be more full, so you don't have to eat as many of them. They'll help you stay full. And the macros on them are much better. But the popcorn, we love doing air pop popcorn,
Yes.
and those kind of give you the crunchy, snacky chip feel.
Yes, and you can also, with the air pop popcorn, you can get some of the not zero sugar, 0 calorie, which is not really 0 calories, so watch that, but it's a lot lower in calories than like butter. You can get some of that like spray type butter stuff, spray it on there and spray some seasonings, and you can have pretty much any flavor you want, whether you want sweet or sweet. Yeah, sweet or savory. Either way, you can do cinnamon sugar. If you want the sweet, you can do like garlic parmesan, buffalo seasoning, any of that. So you can have basically the possibilities with the air pop popcorn are endless. So whatever flavor of chips you are craving, you can probably mimic that in air pop popcorn.
Absolutely.
And also one thing I have done now, here's the thing. If you are specifically craving chips, this is not going to get you what you want. But if you want like a crunchy, good side, like chips, air fried carrot, like carrot chips are very good. You literally just like put seasonings on them, put them in the air fryer until they're like basically like super crispy. So good.
Actually, we also did this thing where we squashed Brussels sprouts like nice and flat, and then air fried them, and it kind of turned them into Brussels chips. And those were very, very good. It's hard to get Brussels sprouts crispy unless you kind of squash them and make them thin, but those are really delicious.
Yeah. Also, another thing is like your substitute for sour cream. You can swap out sour cream for Greek yogurt and you barely tell a difference, like at all. I do this a lot when I'm making recipes and it calls for like a cup or two of sour cream. You can't tell a difference at all. The macros are much better. It has more protein. I've also seen people use blended cottage cheese instead of sour cream as well. So that's also a very good swap. But also we will swap out for sour cream, and the macros are not that much better, but they're better than you think. For sour cream, we swap out French onion dip in smaller portions. This is one of those you can have what you want in moderation. So swapping something out does not necessarily mean it has to be like
a super healthy swap. It can be just a swap that has slightly better macros.
Yes, but this is where you watch your portion sizes as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we've done even the blended cottage cheese in the homemade ranch too.
Yes,
which is absolutely
that is a good one. That is another thing. With the cottage cheese, the blended cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, you can make a homemade ranch using that instead of sour cream. You can also use buttermilk with it to give it that buttermilk ranch vibe. It's much better calories. It's delicious, and honestly, you barely can tell a difference. I am a diehard ranch girly, and I love it. It's very, very good.
My daughter's inherited that. So every time they go have pizza or French fries, they have to have a little bit of ranch with it. So if you have your healthy swap for that, that will be pretty significant macro and bite-wise, and still let you have what you love.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading the comments there. They're going on about how awesome we are, apparently. But also another thing that some people find so hard to break is soda. Just because it's soda does not mean you cannot have it. And I understand if you are not one that wants the artificial sweeteners and those things, and so you do not want like diet soda, Coke Zero. I am a Coke Zero girly. He is a Diet Coke boy. But we love diet sodas. We do not have a ton. Like we may have one a day, if that. But diet soda is a good option if you just crave that soda. There are diet sodas of almost every single thing, like almost every single flavor. Mountain Dew, Pepsi,
Dr.
Dr.
Pepper.
Pepper, even like the grape sodas and the orange sodas, there are zero calorie, zero sugar options out
And
there.
then the off brands
Yeah.
have a lot of 0 calorie too. So the store brands that have like the Dr. Pepper brand, they call them some funny names like the Thirsty one is
Yeah.
Dr. Thirsty, all those types of really fun things. Those typically will have the 0 calorie options too. So a lot of people drink lots of soda, and just switching over to the zero sugar options can be a significant savings for
Yes,
them.
but another thing, if you really just don't want the soda in general, is sparkling water. They have
Mhm.
so many different flavors. You can get the unsweetened kind. Now, I don't really like the unsweetened, because to me, it's if I want a soda, I want that sweet.
Mhm.
So, but they do make unsweetened ones that are pretty much just like sweetened with
Natural fruits.
natural fruits and
Mhm.
things of that nature. But there are also the sweetened ones that are sweetened with like stevia or any of those kind of like sugar substitutes. Those are what I like. And yes, I do count those into my water for the day.
Mhm.
Flavored water is still water.
Flavored
Yeah.
water is still water.
Yep.
Sparkling water is still water. So definitely, there are some people out there who like to police water
Mhm.
and saying that if you add anything into it, it's not still water, but it definitely is still water.
Yes, and my mom said she can't give up her Diet Coke. And Joy said Pepsi Zero is so good. I recently found out that they have a wild cherry Pepsi Zero. I didn't know they had that. Wild cherry Pepsi was my favorite, and it broke my heart to not have that. So I
Mhm.
was so happy when I found the wild cherry Pepsi Zero like a week or so ago. It made me so happy.
Yes, and Jody says that she makes her own potato, apple chips, banana chips, and uses her Ninja Creamy for ice cream with Greek yogurt, which is really good. Oh, she uses the creamy to make dips for her apple and banana chips. That sounds really good.
Wait, uh,
So she
that's a
uses
good
ice
idea.
cream and Greek yogurt to make a
To make
dip
a
for
dip.
those fruits.
That's genius. I have never thought about that. And we are actually my next topic was no one of my next topics was ice cream. But with that, if you crave sweet things, trying just fruit like
Hmm.
that. I will preface this by saying I'm not one of those. If I'm craving something sweet, fruit's not going to do it for me. But there are a lot of people out there, if they just want like a little something sweet, fruit does it for them. So trying fruit instead of like one of those sweet treats that you want is a great idea. There's also lower sugar alternatives. There's zero sugar Reese's out there, y'all. Like what? Or just dark chocolate instead of regular chocolate. I have found out that I actually don't mind dark chocolate. I always thought I didn't like it. I don't mind it. It just has to be paired with the right thing.
Hmm.
And also like we've talked about our yogurt bowls before. If I am craving something sweet, my yogurt bowl is like top of my list. Like I'm gonna have it because I can have like a small amount of Reese's in that healthier yogurt option and still get my chocolate fix and it's still delicious. That's one of our like have what you want with what you need kind of
Hmm.
things. Um but then also like we just mentioned ice cream. There's so many healthy options for ice cream out there. You
Hmm.
can do a small mini ice cream sandwich instead of a bigger ice cream sandwich for like half the calories, probably like a third of the calories.
Hmm.
Along with making ice cream in something like a creamy or ice cream maker if you have one. There's Halo Top ice cream out there. There's Nick's ice cream. There's Target
Makes
has
it
their
really
own
good.
favorite day that has a
Hmm.
protein ice cream. So many different protein ice creams. So many ice cream options out there.
So yes, but the Ninja Creamy, if you happen to have one, I know they're a little on the pricier side. They are the easiest thing that we've
Mhm.
done for homemade ice cream. Just throw a really good protein. We love the Premier not Premier Fairlife proteins. One of those is like 180 calories, depending, and then you can add just a little bit of sugar-free pudding. Uh, the possibilities are endless, and you can freeze that up and whip that up into a homemade creamy ice cream and have lots of protein
Mhm.
and low calorie options. So really, really good option. Joy says Costco has the sugar-free Reese's peanut butter dark cup chocolates,
Oh, interesting.
which is
That sounds good.
really good. We love our Costco.
Yes, we love our Reese's. Well, I love my Reese's. But then also like in general, there are tons of higher protein options of just thing like pretty much anything you think of now. They have a higher protein option, and typically higher protein means better macros.
Hmm.
That's just how it typically not always, but that's how it typically is. Like protein pancakes, Protein cereals, protein popcorns, like I mentioned, the protein chips, protein ice cream, like you name it,
Protein
there's
coffees.
protein coffee.
Starbucks and Dunkin' and all of those are starting on the protein coffee kind of kick. So
Mhm.
protein is really big. It can
Yes.
also help keep you full and fill you up faster, so you don't have less of it. So because I was looking at the macros, the calorie wise, because we have that Catalina Crunch blueberry cereal, which I absolutely love. So the calories is not super low, but in comparison to a regular cereal and it having protein, I can have less of that. So if I can have less of that Catalina Crunch blueberry cereal with my milk, which also has some protein, and need less of it than, let's say, having Captain Crunch or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which I love and I still have in my smaller portions, but I can have
Mhm.
more of the other stuff.
Yes, and also with the like the higher protein options, if you were like crave candy bars, there are actually some protein bars out there that taste just like candy bars. Bear Bells, I'm a tried and true Bear Bell girl. They taste like candy bars. We found one at Aldi the other day. It's the cookie dough one. It literally is like cookie dough wrapped up in chocolate. And when I tell y'all that tastes like straight up cookie dough, but it has 15 grams of protein in it and hardly any sugar, I couldn't believe it.
Not only that, but it was super cheap. It was
It
like
was like 6 bars for less than $5.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is insanely cheap because most protein bars are two at the least and upwards to $4 or $5 a piece.
Yeah, so if you crave candy bars, which I do, those really help me. If I have one of those as like my daily snack, I'm typically like not as tempted to have something sweet at night,
Hmm.
thanks to having that.
Absolutely. So those are delicious. So keep an eye on those.
Yes, and also one more thing, and if you have any questions about healthy swaps, like well, actually, I just thought of one, so two more things. Um, Air fryers are your best friends. Almost anything that you can fry, you can make an air fryer for
Hmm.
like a fraction of the macros, the calories, all of that, more specifically the fat, because you're not frying it in like oils or any of that. Your air fryer is your best friend. Air fried chicken, air fried vegetables. I promise you, air fried vegetables are so much better than like raw vegetables. Let me tell you.
Yep, she
Um,
loves her burnt broccoli in the air fryer.
my burnt Brussels sprouts. Oh, so good. But air fryers are your best friends. Like swap out anything fried, make it in the air fryer. It's still going to be delicious. And I mean, yes, there will be a difference, but
Mhm.
not enough to where it's not going to be so good. Um, and then with that, anything you're craving for fast food, listen, get on Pinterest, look up like healthy Arby's beef and cheddar dupe.
Mhm.
You can probably find it and make that at home healthier. Now, that does not mean like you don't, you can never go to the fast food
Oh
restaurant
yes.
or any restaurant and get what you're wanting.
Yeah,
But
we go to restaurants, but we
yeah,
also plan around it, plan accordingly, and eat in
yes, but
moderation.
if it doesn't work in your day, you can probably find that online how to make that healthier. And just with simple swaps like the Greek yogurt instead of the sour cream, using a lower fat cheese, using a lower carb bun. Like there are so many different healthy swaps out there. And so, like I said, if you have any questions about like what you can swap out for this, how can this be made healthier, reach out because that's I love finding healthy swaps. It's like a game to me. Like, how
Mhm.
can I make this taste as good as possible with the least amount of calories as possible?
Mhm. I did want to go back real quick on that last topic a little bit too. The protein pancakes and the protein cereals, those can tend to be a little bit more pricier,
Mhm.
but you can absolutely add some of your powdered protein into the regular standard cheap pancake mix. You can also add a little bit of the powdered protein in with your milk when you're doing regular cereal
Yeah.
to add some extra protein on there too, because I know that those cereals can tend to
Mhm.
be a little more pricier. So add protein milk to your cinnamon toast crunch to make it a little bit more
Yes.
economical for you as well.
Yes, and also with when you're eating, swap out your bigger plates and like utensils for smaller plates. I have
Hmm.
literally used our daughter's toddler spoons and plates because
Hmm.
it tricked my mind into
Think we're
thinking I
eating
had
more.
more. I
Hmm.
do that a lot with ice cream. I will use for toddler bowls and toddler spoons because if I'm eating the full fat stuff, it makes me think I'm getting more. So using smaller plates, utensils, all of that will trick your mind into thinking you're getting more, especially if you're eating something on the less healthy spectrum. You
Hmm.
can have less of it, but it'll look like it's more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all a mind game, and it's a fairly common and a well-known trick. Just have a smaller dish or a bowl makes you think like you haven't, like you're eating more.
Yes. And real quick, on to the healthier lifestyle swaps. There are obviously lots that you can do. Um, like parking further in the parking lot.
Mhm,
If you normally park close, park further. Walking further, obviously going to get you more steps, get you more movement.
mhm,
With that, if you typically shop online for things, shop in the store. I know it's sometimes a hassle, but you will not be sitting there in front of a phone or a computer shopping. You will be having to physically walk around a store and get your stuff. And like
mhm.
I know sometimes it's convenient, you don't have the time, but if you do have the time, shopping in a store really will help get some movement
Mhm.
going.
And sometimes when we're a little low on steps, we'll just go to the store and walk around a
Mhm.
couple. We might like need one or two things, but we'll walk up and down the
Yeah.
aisles just to get a few more steps and more activity in for those two things. But then you risk of getting some impulse things too. So make sure you don't go hungry as well. So
Yes,
get your
eat
steps
before
in,
you go.
don't go hungry, and then you can still get your activity in and still get just the one or two items you need at the grocery store.
Yes, and one thing that's not necessarily, like, weight related, but just, like, mental health related, like, eating a meal outside, like, having a picnic, eating like,
Mhm,
finding somewhere nice outside that you can eat. That, one, it be and fresh air helps with your energy, but it also can help with your mental health.
mhm.
So, swapping out eating inside for outside sometimes is, is a really good idea to help you out. And then, if you wanna talk about that one because you work
Yes.
at home.
Try standing a little bit more instead of sitting. It doesn't have to be a lot. I have a standing desk, and I have a tendency to sometimes not use it as much as I'd like to. But if I can stand, whether I'm moving a lot, 10 minutes every hour, and that gives me more movement. Sometimes I'll try to stand up more. I'll do like half an hour or an hour or so, and then sit down for a couple hours. But just any kind of movement other than just sitting down at your desk all day long. Um, whether it's up for 5 minutes, you do 1 minute per hour, any kind of movement during your day when you're normally kind of sedentary at your desk will definitely help get some movement in.
Yes, absolutely. And then another thing, which this seems like logical, but some people just don't think about it, swap out some of your screen time for physical activity.
Hmm.
You can also have that screen time while having physical activity. Like I will watch my show while I'm on the treadmill,
Hmm.
but make sure you're getting some physical activity in because if you have time to sit there and scroll on your phone for an hour, you have time to move your body for 20 or 30 minutes during that hour
Hmm.
instead of that. So it really is about what you want to make an effort for and what you make time for. Like a lot of people say they don't have time to work out and to do these things, but really they do. They just don't want to swap it out with something else. So
Hmm.
physical activity instead of scrolling on your phone is a really, really good swap. Like I said, it seems kind of logical, but some people just say they don't have time. Also, with that, um, and this for me breaks my heart a little bit, but swap out that nap for some physical activity. If you get a nap in, get some physical activity instead. I am a daily napper right now because during my lunch break I literally take a nap in my car. But with that being said, if you take a nap and you're not able to get physical activity in during the day, but you do have time for that hour or two nap, get up and move your body.
And you
It
don't have
doesn't
to do
have
it
to be
every
every day.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be every day, but get up and move your body some, even if it's just for 30 minutes and you sleep for 30 minutes.
Hmm.
Like, but getting up and moving your body, you'd be surprised how much better that is for your energy level throughout the day,
Hmm.
even more so than that nap.
Yes, I have a 30-minute lunch break, and I can go about a mile and a half to a mile and a quarter on those 30-minute walks. And I'll come back more refreshed than I would have if I had sat on my phone for those 30 minutes. So if you
Mhm.
can get out and do it. Also, I tend to do more of my movement at my desk, my standing desk in the morning times, because instead of coffee, I'll just stand up for the first 30 minutes and get some steps in. And that blood movement gives me that kind of that pump and the energy that I
Mhm.
need that I would normally have used caffeine for. So use movement to help give you a little but you do sometimes need rest. If you need a
Mhm.
nap,
Yeah.
take a nap. If you need to relax, do that. But movement can give you the energy. It might sound counterproductive, but it definitely does give you more energy.
Yes, and healthy swaps is all about doing a little bit here and there to make a big difference. Like you don't have to do everything at once, but if you just swap out a little bit here, a little bit there, it really does make a difference. And like I said, it also helps you have the things that you love without depriving yourself. Because if you're craving something, that's what you want. Like you're not gonna like crave fried chicken, but some grilled salmon's gonna do the job. No, you're
Mhm.
gonna want fried chicken. So try some air fried chicken instead and see if it helps. If it doesn't help, then sure, go buy Popeyes and get you some chicken. Because at the end of the day, like you don't want to deprive yourself either,
Mhm.
because then you will have a binge moment and
Yeah,
you'll probably
absolutely.
go overboard.
But not only that, but it's all about those healthier portions. If you want the fried chicken, go and get like a
Mhm.
2 piece,
Yeah.
or get one chicken tender and have that along with your healthier sides, so you can get that taste and flavor and enjoy it.
Yes, because also that's what your weeklies are for.
Hmm.
If you want to have something outside of what you normally would be able to have, that is what your weeklies are there for.
Absolutely. So make sure that you don't deprive yourself of the things that you really really enjoy.
Yes, and with that, we're going to do our recipe, and this is kind of a healthy swap type thing. Um, so
We're very excited about this. I hope that it actually stuck the change.
yes,
Yes.
this is cheesy chicken sloppy joes crock pots. They're made in the crock pot. Um, Sloppy joes are not something that's crazy unhealthy for you, but this is something that just makes it a little bit healthier with the chicken instead of the beef. And then a couple extra like healthier swaps. 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast, a tablespoon of minced garlic, a medium onion, a half a cup of sugar-free ketchup. We use the G Hughes brand, but I think
Hmm.
there's other brands out
Oh
there.
yeah.
A tablespoon of brown sugar replacement. We use Swerve brand. Also, it is just a tablespoon. If you don't want to go out and buy a whole thing of brown sugar Swerve or whatever,
The one
just use
tablespoon is
the
not
one
going to be.
tablespoon split up between 8 servings is really not going to make that big of a difference. Same thing with the ketchup. You can use regular ketchup. The macros will be higher, but that half a cup split between 8 servings is not too crazy.
Hmm.
Um, Tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 3/4 cup, and I say 1 3/4 cup because that's a whole bag of fat-free shredded cheddar cheese, and then 8 buns. We typically would use the Carb Master from Kroger, but whatever low carb bun you can find. Spray your crock pot, add the chicken breast to the crock pot. You can cut these up smaller if you want them to cook faster. We typically just throw ours in there whole. Dice the onion and add to the top of the chicken. Add all of the other ingredients except for the cheese and the hamburger buns. Cook on high for 3 to 4 hours or low and slow for longer if you would like. Remove the chicken and shred it. Add chicken back to the crock pot. Add in the whole entire bag of cheese. That's why this is called cheesy chicken sloppy
It's
joes, because it's
delicious.
very cheesy. Add the chicken back to the crock pot. Um, Add in the whole entire bag of shredded cheese and stir it until it's nice and melted. Serve on hamburger buns with whatever topping you would prefer. The toppings will add obviously calories, protein, fat, all of that. But this is 3 to 7 bites, 340 calories, 10 net carbs, 55 grams of protein.
Lots of protein.
55. And it's made in a crock pot, super quick and easy. The only like I guess, what's the word? Preparations you have to do is cutting up the onions, but you can buy pre-diced onion if you
Hmm.
really want to.
Absolutely. We share this recipe with Coach Delicia, and she said that she's going to have to make it for one of her
I'm
4th of July
actually,
parties.
this is one of the first recipes we're going to be making soon when we start back to cooking after our move.
Yep,
So
absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And let me take this back off so you can see our lovely faces as we're saying goodbye.
it's
Um,
not done. There we go.
there it
Hi.
is. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us this week. We will actually not be here next week. We've got some plans, so we're taking a little bit of a break next week, but we will be back the following week with
Yes, we
another
will be
amazing
ready.
topic.
If you have any topping suggestions or questions in between, then just let us know. We are always available.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.